I need help from the divorced single moms. Are there any of you out there who have divorced somebody that you loved, that you were still in love with, but the relationship had to end for a number of reasons, a number of complicated reasons? I just had sort of the quote unquote like divorce conversation. Meaning like we've been separated. I've mentioned that before, but we are proceeding with divorce, and it's sad. We're both really sad, and we have kids, and we both tried so hard to make it work, and we both love each other still. Anyone else in that position? Like, any advice? I mean, it's not working. You know, we have super toxic dynamic and a lot of pain and trauma, and a lot of it is born out of childhood trauma, especially on his side. But it's so sad. It's almost like a tragedy. So I just want to hear like stories from the other side. Are there any stories of hope from the other side? Not in like getting back together with that person, but just like it gets better. You find someone else who meets your needs more, or you find yourself, or it's just sad.
So recently I caught up with an old friend, and she was telling me that she got divorced, and I was so surprised because her and her husband were such a cute couple, and they had been together for 11 years. So I asked her, like, what happened? I figured something bad happened. She's like, honestly, I was just bored. Like, my husband, all he did was work. I was a stay-at-home mom. We had 3 kids, and I just got lonely and bored. And she says that when she would bring it up, like, he would take her out, but it was just boring to her. Like, she needed some excitement in her life. She just felt like she was just a mom and a wife, and her husband just wasn't doing that for her. And she had other friends that had, you know, boyfriends, or like they had just got married, and they were always going out, always going on vacation, always partying, like going to the club, going to the bar, hanging out with friends, and they did none of that. And when she would bring it up to her husband would always tell her, like, I gotta work. Like, you know, they had a big house, they had nice things, like he was just trying to work. So they ended up getting divorced, and now, you know, she's single, she lives alone, she's working, and she's dating. So then I told her, oh, well, that must be exciting, like dating and stuff. And she's like, no, I fucking hate it. And I was like, why? And she's like, because all they want to do is just have fun. They just want to go to the club, they just want to go to the bar, they just want to hang out, have a good time, and then that's it. She said, no one wants to help me out. Like, I'm trying to find someone that's going to help take care of my kids. She's like, I just want someone to be a provider, not just a good time. So I was all like, well, wasn't that what your husband was doing? And she's like, I know. And I guess now her ex-husband is dating someone, like, seriously. They have been divorced for a total of 3 years, and he has been dating this girl for 2 years. She has 2 kids, and they're already living together. She says that he's fully taking care of her, like, the girl doesn't work, she's a stay-at-home mom, they haven't had any new kids, but they're planning on having kids, and she's pissed, because she's like, how can he move on so fast? Like, you know, I can't even find nobody, and he just found someone so quick, and he didn't even want to give us another try, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was so confused, because I was like, okay, so you divorced him because he was always working, and you were bored. So now you are single, going out, having a good time, dating, but you don't like that. Now you want someone to take care of you, a provider. And your ex-husband, all he wanted to do was be a provider. That's why now he is dating someone who he has no problem providing for her and her kids. And she's pissed because she's like, why would he go and find someone who has kids? Like, he already has kids. Why would he want to take on that responsibility? And I'm like, wait, aren't you looking for someone to take on that responsibility? I was just giving her a hard time, not gonna lie, because it was kind of funny to me, because I was like, I could tell that she regretted her decision. I could tell. And I've seen a lot of people do shit like this, where they get divorced for reasons that are not, I'm not gonna say they're not valid, because everybody's feelings are valid, but they're fixable problems. Like, I don't know if you guys have this wrong idea of marriage that is supposed to be like fun and happy all the time. It's not. I feel like every relationship literally depends on compromise. Like, you gotta compromise something. You cannot have everything. And to be honest with you, like, if she was willing to give up on him that quick, like, maybe she just didn't love him that much. Because I cannot even imagine just me being like, oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna divorce my husband, you know? Like, no, you figure it out, you work it out. But I could tell that she's regretting it, because what she thought she wanted is not what she thought she wanted.
Till this day, I get blamed for how severely he screwed my life up. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't drink anything without feeling pain, true pain. And I get blamed for feeling this way. And it is just ridiculous how someone can hurt you so much, and just expect you to move on from it and not care and just move on, like as if nothing happened. And I will never wish this pain on anyone.
Course, men, 70 to 80% of the time, I would argue in relationships it's probably similar. Men aren't leaving, women are. So to a guy's point of view, he's going to commit to this girl, and what does he get? He doesn't get purity anymore, you know, these hoes. You know, he doesn't get youth anymore, so he doesn't get either of those things. A lot of times she already has a kid, so he's not fulfilling his mating strategy. On top of that, even if he does find a good woman that maybe has the qualities he's looking for, she was going to want him to marry her. And what does he get out of that? Oh, she can leave and take half and take my kid. And she's paid to take my kids away from me. She gets more money if she takes my children. And so from the men's point of view, they're just kind of like, F it, because like women aren't wives nowadays. And what do they get out of it? But like, men are logical. They're logical people. And so they're thinking, does the benefit outweigh the cost? And like, I just think as women, we have to look at ourselves and say, the benefits we bring nowadays don't outweigh the cost for.
I genuinely do not even know how to begin talking about everything. I found out about the cheating after a really bad argument that we had. And in this argument, the things that he was saying didn't really correlate with the life that we were living. The year previous to me finding out about the cheating, we were trying to start a family. And we were very happy. We were accomplishing things that we never imagined of accomplishing. So we were living a very happy life. So I don't really know where it switched to being unhappy. The argument consisted of a lot of manipulation into making me believe that me asking for the bare minimum was unheard of and disgusting and something that I should have been ashamed of. I was so ashamed that I ended up writing him a 2-page letter, begging him for forgiveness. I read him this letter. He forgave me. And he just fell asleep so soundly that I knew that there was more to it. And I decided to go through his phone. When going through his phone, I found out everything. It was right in front of me, and I saw my world crumbling in front of me. It was messages between him and women. It was messages between him and his friends with screenshots of the conversations of him and women. It was voice recordings. It was Google translation, because he didn't know how to say it in English. So he was translating it into English so that it could make sense when he was flirting in English. And my whole life just flashed before my eyes. It was the most traumatic thing that I could have ever experienced. And when we chose to try to make it work, I thought we were both going to work, and it wasn't. I was spending my nights praying over him and begging God and pleading with God to repair my marriage, while he was continuously lying to me and still making a fool out of me in every way possible. He was not giving me any reasons to trust him. It was just not being reciprocated, and I was fighting alone. It all hit a climax when I found out more lies and more things that he was being untruthful about and unfaithful. And he looked at me in the eyes and he told me, I do not know how to respect you. I picked up my things, I left. And the hardest part, I thought at the time, was living with him, trying to repair my marriage while he just discarded me like trash. But in reality, it was restarting my life, and from scratch. And it was very hard. And I made these videos not to post or for clout. I made them because I needed to heal. I needed to have something to hold on to and grasp and tell myself, you're going to be okay, and you're going to look at these and you're going to be fine. And that's exactly what this is. And it ends up that I'm not alone. And there have been many other women or men too, that are coming out and saying, like, this has happened to me as well, and worse. It's shit. It's a shit process. It hurts. It's painful, but you grow and you get better. And while someone can destroy a part of your life, you're actually just starting a brand new book and a brand new chapter that has endless opportunities. So it's shit, but it gives you hope.
I will never understand what I did to this.
You'd win.
What I did to deserve like this much disrespect and this much hurt. If my only husband can't love me, he can't respect me. I just like, I just feel like I'm mourning. I'm not only mourning him, and like mourning the person that he was, but I'm mourning the family that we built, and I'm mourning the children that I thought I was gonna have, and I'm mourning the mom I thought I was going to be.
It definitely does get better, but we have to remember that healing is sporadic. With me, I had days that I didn't even remember a time that I was sad. I was loving my life and living my life literally to the fullest. And then something triggering would happen and I would get sad. And immediately I was right down here as if the wound was like still super, super fresh and unhealed. The people that cheat, they don't understand the toll that it takes on a person. It is a pain like no other. I was so hurt when it happened that at first I was not eating, I was not sleeping. I lost a total of 40 pounds throughout my process. And it wasn't like I lost it in a healthy way. I just lost it because I was so depressed. But I started to track my victories. I started to track the things that I was doing better at. I started to track when I ate, even if I ate a little bit and just a bite, just something that I could tell myself like, see, like this is a step forward in the right direction. Now I'm happier than I was yesterday. I'm less sad than I was yesterday. It will always be painful because he took a part of me. He took a part of me that I will never get back. And it's unfortunate that you lose a part of yourself, but you also gain a part of yourself that you've never had before. And the most rewarding thing is that knowing that this part of me, he'll never have. And that is just on its own the biggest victory that I could have. But it's a learning process and it gets better. With me, I really felt God carry me through this entire process. I was in such a bad depression. Like the pain was larger than life itself for me. If it wasn't for God and if it wasn't for my family, I don't think that I would be where I am in life.
Y'all, imagine being married, asking for a divorce for a specific reason, and then regretting that shit later. Okay, so there was this woman on TikTok who made a video about her friend. So her and her friend went out recently, and her friend was married for 11 years to a man that she thought they were going to be together forever and ever and ever because they were just a super cute couple. They had a really good dynamic, and they got along really well and never had crazy issues, right? So but she's now divorced and has been divorced for 3 years. And so she asks her like, oh, like, why did you end up, getting divorced? And she said, well, I am the one who asked for the divorce because I got bored. She said the relationship got really boring. She was a stay-at-home mom. All he did was work. And they were well off. So this guy is putting in a lot of hours and a lot of, work time so that way they can live the comfortable life they were living. Okay? He paid all the bills. So she said she got bored always being home, taking care of the kids, and not really having them time or doing like spontaneous fun stuff. Well, she would tell him about it, and he would try to take her out and try to do stuff, but it just felt like it wasn't enough, and it wasn't the same for her that, like it used to be when you're in a fresh relationship. Well, duh, bitch, it's been 11 years. Spice it up. You do something. Anyway, so she asked for a divorce. He gave it to her, and she's been dating for these past 3 years, and so she asks her, how's it been? How's the dating life been, okay? And she tells her, honestly, it's been trash. It was fun at first, but now it's not fun because I'm looking for something serious now, and no guys want to take shit serious. All they want to do is have fun, right? Club, bar, let's go out, let's do this, let's travel, let's do that. It's always go, and that is what she wanted in the beginning, but that's not what she wants now, 3 years later, right? So now she's like, I want to get serious with someone, and I want someone to help me with my kids and help me, and I don't fucking know. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom again, okay? What she wanted was her old life that she chose to give up for some fun, temporary fun at that, right? So she left this good-ass man for bullshit just to regret it. And he has been now in a relationship for 2 years of the 3 years they've been divorced. So a year he took to himself, then he found someone, and he's been with that person for 2 years. She is now moved in. She is now living the life that this woman once was living. and she herself has 2 kids, so he's helping her with her kids and his kids, and she's kind of like offended by that. Shorty, you gave him up. He got every right to be happy, and he was a good one because somebody cuffed him up real fucking quick and knew how to keep him. So all I gotta say is, if you got a good man, keep him. Keep him. Be bored, bitch. Figure it out.
It's so hard. Can we skip to the good part?
It doesn't really work that way.
What do you mean? I did the thing with the hand.
Yeah, no, that's not actually real.
It's not?
Far too many times I see people make the decision to break up their family on purpose without truly weighing the consequences. I'm Elizabeth, a mom to 4. I am remarried after going through a divorce 5 years ago. I have 2 boys from a previous marriage. My husband has a daughter from a previous marriage, and then we have a baby together. So I want to share in depth the consequences, a few of the consequences that come when you break up your family on purpose, because these things are not talked about enough, and I think that divorce is romanticized more than it should be. People get in divorces because they just want to be happy. Yeah, well, here's what happens when you have that as your motivation. Number 1, your kids are going to suffer no matter how amicable the divorce is. Co-parenting is really hard. If you're going through a divorce, it probably means that you don't get along with the person that you're divorcing. Then when you go through the breakup, you have heightened feelings of anger, emotions, whatever. Pile on top of that, both of you have children together that you absolutely would mama bear up or papa bear up on to protect. And then you feel like the person that you're divorcing is your enemy. So unfortunately, what happens a lot of times is the kids get put in the middle of your war. And you're probably thinking, no, that won't happen with me. I thought the same thing, and it was devastating. And let me tell you, there is nothing worse than watching your child suffer. And there's nothing you can do about it. Or at least it feels like there's nothing you can do about it. People also don't talk about what happens when you have a 50-50 custody situation, so you're sharing custody, and you go from seeing your kids every day to not seeing them half of their life. And in the beginning, this is really jolting, especially because if you are like me, I didn't have a great relationship with their dad, and so I didn't always talk to them every day. I didn't obviously see them every day. And I was a mom who saw her kids I tucked my kids in bed every single night of their life, literally until the day that we went through our divorce. You also have to share holidays, and this is really, really hard because in the divorce, typically your community changes. And I don't know if you're like me, but holidays for me with my kids were like the most special thing ever. And then you go to not being able to see them on the holiday, it's really hard. You basically have to make brand new family traditions and rituals because every other tradition that you've been celebrating up until that point is painful. It's a painful reminder of what was or what could have been. I am not trying to sway you one way or another to go through a divorce, but what I will say is that if you are considering it, you have to consider the fallout for your children especially. And so hopefully these are some tips and behind the scenes looks at somebody who has gone through it, has come out on the other side. I have a really good co-parenting relationship with my ex-husband and his wife, and we're in a much better place. But let me tell you, it is the hardest thing because of what the kids go through and what you go through, but ultimately what your children go through. And if I can encourage you in anything, it is to keep your children and their needs at the forefront of your decision making, not your feelings, not your emotions. And it is so hard not to do because everything is emotionally charged. But the second that I put my feelings and emotions on the back burner and put my kids' needs on the front was when I saw huge changes in my children for the good, for the better, and in the relationship with their father. Okay, last thing. I heard this from a counselor that was counseling my ex-husband and I in co-parenting counseling. And she said that your children see yourselves in you and in your ex and their, father or mother. And the second that you say something negative, insinuate something negative in front of them, or to them about the other parent, you basically are telling them, what they interpret is that you're telling them that they are a bad person. So I'll give you an example. Your kids get in the car, you ask them what they had for breakfast that morning, and they say, I had a Frappuccino with pancakes. And your immediate response is, can your dad feed you, healthy stuff? Gosh, that's so bad for you. What they hear, because they see themselves in their dad, what they hear, gosh, you don't know how to make healthy food choices. That's what they hear. So there's a way to get around that. And if you want more information on that strategy, just comment down below. There's a specific strategy that I'm talking about that was given to us by our counselor. But hopefully this is helpful. Divorce sucks. I'm not saying to get divorced or stay. Every situation's different, but you have to consider the fallout for your kids and for yourself.